Okay. Very good morning to all brothers and sisters in this Dhamma. Today is day 4, 10 o'clock session. Okay, we will continue with our Heart Sutra sharing. Who wants to read? Waifan? Manyan not back yet. I think we are at page 165, lesson 33.
Third Heart Sutra class. 1.1 Dhammapada verse 21. Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to the dead. The heedful do not die. The heedless are as if dead spiritually. One only needs to be heedful, then one is destined for enlightenment. Therefore, one must make strong determination to be heedful. To know who you are and what you are is very important. Is this human being or the 5 aggregates of form and mind really what you are? How do you know the world? And how do you interact with the world? It is the senses that enable us to interact with the world via mind or mental consciousness. This is a very important understanding. Sakkaya Ditthi, self-delusion, is a very powerful delusion because during every moment of sense-door consciousness like seeing, hearing, thinking, and etc., the personality and egoic mind will arise if there is Sakkaya Ditthi. Then one will try to own and possess things. This is how selfishness, which is an evil root, arises. Similarly, because of the ego, one can also become jealous, angry, emotional, and fearful. And these are the other 2 evil roots of hatred and delusion. As they are the roots of all evil, this is the reason why when things do not go your way, and when you cannot get what you desire or want, you can become very unhappy, and you can also get angry and become emotional too. When confronted with First Noble Truth realities, especially health problems or separation problems, the thought will project into the past and the future to condition your fear, worry, anxiety, and sadness, unhappiness, etc., leading to one's suffering. See that it is just a thought, not a reality at all. So how come it has so much power to torment you and cause you so much suffering? This is wrong view conditioned by your delusion to grasp and cling onto the so-called problem, hence causing your fear, worry, and anxiety, etc. Do see its impermanent characteristics and anatta nature, i.e., it is just a thought which comes and goes and has no power over you if you are not deluded by it. Part 2, Heart Sutra, Lesson 33. The Dhamma are only word, concepts, and skillful means. Ultimate nirvana. When you have wisdom, you do not cling to the Dhamma. The Dhamma are only words, concept, and skillful means pointing towards the truth, as likened to finger pointing to the moon. The commentary said, the mind of the past cannot be obtained. The mind of the future cannot be obtained. And the mind of the present moment also cannot be obtained. This English translation by the commentary is not so clear as compared to the Mandarin version. In Mandarin it is 过去心不可得, meaning the mind of the past is already gone, so it is no more reality, i.e. you cannot hold on to it or have it anymore. Similarly, the future has yet to come, so it is also not a reality. The moment is the only reality in life, and moment to moment life passes by. What are you doing? Are you mindful of the moment, truly living life? Or are you too busy thinking, planning, and worrying about life, so heedless so much so you totally miss out on life. To be with the moment, to experience all of the wonders and beauty of life without any fear, worry, and anxiety is truly living life. The present moment may be the highest in life, but in order to transcend life, one must also transcend even the moment. This is because the moment passes by so fast and it is also not a reality in that sense. That is split second, is dead and gone. This moment, then the next moment, and the next moment. Only a stream of unending moments of thoughts rising and falling. See this clearly and free your mind. Only consciousness and thoughts arising and passing by, implying it is nothing substantial and not so real. This is the reason why the Buddha said, mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. And when mind arises, everything comes to be and mind-made are there. So if one acts, speaks, and thinks with a heedless or unwholesome mind that has the evil roots of great hatred and delusion, suffering will follow one like the wheel that follows the hoof. Hence the reason why the Surangama Sutra states that perception of form is consciousness, whereas its non-perception is wisdom. The first seeing refers to mundane seeing, via the condition arising mundane mind, whereas the second seeing refers to the direct seeing via the true mind, which is beyond thought and beyond mind, the mundane mind. When cultivating the Buddha Dhamma, one must be diligent to do it continuously with full determination in order to be successful, and one must not be complacent. A good analogy is of the primitive man making a fire by rubbing a stick against the rock to spark off the fire. One must not stop halfway before the spark can trigger off the fire. Hence, heedfulness must be stabilized and sustained until one is ever mindful. Part 3, meditation. Question 1. Why do I experience heat which comes and goes during meditation? Bharatio answered, whether heat arises or not, it is not so important, because the main purpose and intent of meditation is to train the mind in heedfulness first. That is, to be in a stable state of relaxed inner awareness or mindfulness first. Then only one meditate. Heat can be due to the environment that you are in or due to your yin and yang imbalance within your body. The key thing is just to be in a state of relaxed inner awareness, to be aware of everything that is arising and passing away during meditation. Just maintain a silent passive awareness. Don't try to know. The understanding will come by itself via an awakening and not via thinking. 3.2. I can be very heedful and mindful when I am here doing meditation in a very conducive environment, but when I am in the midst of life, I can be very heedless. When I am in a very negative environment or situation, I can become deluded very fast. Then I start to blame myself and get angry with myself. Why? Bharatio answered, this is normal. When you are in this present tranquil meditative environment, you will be naturally more peaceful and heedful. Everything appears very smooth sailing because it is a conditioned environment or state of mind with no negativity to stir and test you. But when you are in the midst of life, you are usually less heedful. So when you are with someone that you don't like or a weird and difficult person, then you are tested. During this moment, if you have yet to develop the wisdom needed to calm yourself down, then it is very likely you will become unhappy via your heedless reaction to what they say and what they do. You will have to learn to confront or face all these negativities and difficult situations with wisdom to free your mind. That's why you must investigate into all this. That is how your reactions to sense experiences conditioned by your delusion develop into very strong habitual tendencies without you even becoming aware of them. Habitual tendencies born of delusion are difficult to change or correct overnight. Silence your mind to investigate into their origination factors so that you can later retrospectively reverse it via wisdom after you have contemplated deep into it. That is how this anger or fear arises in your mind. and then inquire, are they real? Is anger or fear really what you are? Apart from these mental states that come and go, is there a nature within that is unmoving and unchanging? All these are part of meditation. Your problem lies in your inability to recognize the fact that you are not what you are thinking or mundane mind tells you via your Sakaya Ditti. Your true nature within is already perfect and without any negativity or discrimination and convention. So don't blame yourself for being so useless because you cling onto your form and mind, the so-called human being as the you and the I and the me, hence the delusion. Blaming and getting angry with yourself is of no use because it is wrong view. The anger or fear that arises is not you, but only a conditioned state of mind that arises after you have reacted to what you see and what you hear and think via your own Sakaya Ditti or self-delusion, which is a wrong view. If you do not perceive whatever life situation that arises with negativity or wrong view, then you will not react and there will be no suffering. You will come to understand via your heedfulness that when things don't go your way, then you will react because you want things your way, which is against nature's law that govern all of life and existence. Hence, suffering will arise because you have your expectations that are not met and you are not able to understand that people are just the way they are and that is a fact. This is part of the first noble truth, 7 conditions or realities of life existence. When you have right view, anger, selfishness, and fear cease to be. As we all know, a deluded person will say and do deluded things. Likewise, an angry and violent person will do and say angry and violent things. You have to develop the wisdom via your meditation to accept them for what they are, and then you will be peaceful. You only need to change and straighten your view to free your mind. This realization is wisdom. Hence the saying, wisdom frees, whereas delusion binds. 3.3. How do I overcome discrimination against a specific person? Paratyo answered, when you use your false thinking or condition arising, discriminative thinking mind to see and perceive a specific person via your wrong views and opinions born of your own mind's conditioning, then this discriminative perception will arise. The problem is your Sakaya Ditti or self-delusion that conditions you to deludedly cling onto your false thinking mind, leading to your inability to realize your true mind, to see things as they are via wisdom. Please refer to the 7 Surangama Sutra notes dated 8 Jan 2013 for further explanation on this. 34 Heart Sutra class, 1.1 Words for opening a sutra. The unsurpassed, profound and wonderful Dhamma is difficult to encounter in hundreds of millions of aeons. I now see and hear it, receive and uphold it, and I vow to fathom the Tathagata's true meaning.
So this one is very important. I always reminded you all. Don't take for granted that this teaching is easily available. It's very rare. You look at the opening verse for Mahayana Sutta. The unsurpassed, profound and wonderful Dhamma. See, this is how cultivators who have developed the understanding appreciate what type of Dhamma. It's really unsurpassed. So far I can't find another one better than this or more extensive than this. That is very profound and yet wonderful. True or not? Aye. And this unsurpassed, profound and wonderful Dhamma is difficult to encounter in, read, hundreds of millions of aeons, no, not 1, 2 aeons, no, 100 of millions of aeons. No. Then now you have the condition to hear it, see it, receive it. No. I now see and hear it, receive and uphold it. So have you uphold it? The Bodhisattva vow, the yellow card is for you to uphold it, understand? No? Aditana and all those things. And I vow to phantom the Tathagata's true teaching. The Tathagata is the Sammasambuddha. So this is another vow. You can vow to phantom the Tathagata's true teaching. Okay, read on.
Reciting the above opening verse with great sincerity and faith is very important because it reminds us clearly of the following. Rare is birth as a human being. Rare is the opportunity of hearing the Dhamma. Dangerous is the delusion of mind. Via the analogy of turtle's egg in the great ocean. In the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the Buddha used the metaphor of a blind turtle in a vast ocean to explain how difficult it is to be reborn as a human being, and at the same time to have the chance of hearing the Dhamma. Suppose there is a turtle egg floating on a vast ocean. The turtle egg has a hole with the size of which is just slightly larger for the head of the turtle to pop up. There is a long-lived sea turtle in the ocean. Once every 100 years, this turtle comes out from the bottom of the ocean and pops his head into the ocean surface, and the probability of it hitting the hole of the turtle egg is the probability of being born as a human being and to hear the Buddha Dhamma, i.e. to be reborn, to be able to born a human and having the chance to hear the Dhamma is just as hard for the blind turtle to encounter the turtle's egg on the vast ocean and let its head go through the hole of this turtle egg. Therefore, do not be heedless anymore, so that you will not lose sight of this great opportunity of already having the special condition to be a human being and the great condition to hear the Dhamma, yet not taking it seriously to diligently cultivate to awaken to it. It is going to be a real waste. If one misses this window, it may be hundreds of millions of eons later before one can have another such condition or opportunity. 1.2. What is heedfulness or appamada? Bharatya answered, the importance of heedfulness is clearly expounded by the Buddha via Dhammapada verses 21, 22, and 23. The Buddha said under Dhammapada verse 21, heedfulness is the path to the deathless, and the heedful never die, whereas heedlessness is the path to the death, and the heedless are as if dead. So do not be heedless and do strive on with heedfulness always. Appamada is the silent mind in heedfulness, attentiveness, alertness, non-laxity, diligence, and vigilance to develop the meditation to liberate the mind. Appamada or heedfulness is the cornerstone of all skillful mental states, and it is of such importance that the Buddha stressed it in his parting words of the last exhortation. Transient are all conditioned things and phenomena. Strive on with heedfulness. Appamadena sampadeta. 1.3. Appamada Sutta. Below is the Appamada Sutta as translated by Thanissaro Bhikkhu. Appamada Sutta. At Savatthi, as he was sitting on one side, King Pasadi of Kosala said to the Blessed One, is there, Lord, any one quality that keeps both kinds of benefits secure? Benefits in this life and benefits in life to come. There is one quality, great King, that keeps both kinds of benefits secure. Benefits in this life and benefits in lives to come. But what, Lord, is that one quality? It is heedfulness, great King. Just as the footprints of all living beings with legs can be encompassed by the footprint of the elephant's footprint is declared to be supreme among them in terms of its great size. In the same way, heedfulness is the one quality that keeps both of the benefits secure, benefits in life and benefits in life to come. That is what the Blessed One said. Having said that, the one well gone, the teacher said further, for one who desires long life, health, beauty, heaven, and noble birth, lavish delights one after another, the wise praise heedfulness in performing deeds of merits. When heedful and wise, you achieve both kinds of benefits, benefits in this life and benefits in life to come. By breaking through to your benefits, you'll call enlightened, wise. To be mindful or in sati is to be in a state of relaxed inner awareness or attentiveness without thought. To be heedful is to be aware or mindful before the knowing. To understand the truth or to see things as they are. When the mind is silent, mindful and attentive without thought, then it is in sati. The silent mind with inner awareness to cultivate the Buddha Dharma, thus developing the wisdom or panya, is heedfulness. The opposite of heedfulness is heedlessness. And when one is heedless, one is hardly aware and only merely conscious of life, because one is too busy and heedlessly thinking, planning and worrying about life so much so one totally misses out on life. One never really lives life because one is so preoccupied with one's thinking or thought processes. Hence the heedlessness via constantly lost in thought most of the time and throughout the day. Heedful living allows us to be ever mindful of all our mental intentions, behind all our actions, speech and thought processes. This will enable us to cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path factors of right speech, right action and right thought via following the advice of the Buddha, to apply the appropriate four right efforts to avoid all evil, do good and purify our mind. Heedfulness will prevent us from being heedless throughout the day so that the 5 hindrances of mind can be overcome and finally eradicated. Heedfulness will also enable us to trace the original factors of the 5 hindrances of mind and 3 evil roots of great hatred and delusion when they arise due to one's reaction of mind to sense experiences. By understanding how they arise via wisdom, we will be able to retrospectively reverse it. With heedfulness, we will be able to put the teachings to test and witness the Four Noble Truths and the law of dependent origination or 12 links occurring within our own form and mind with every moment of mental activity. Heedfulness will also enable us to see things as they are via our sati and samadhi, leading to the wisdom or panya. When one is heedful and mindful with inner awareness, most of the time, one can see everything very clearly, because the silent mind is not distracted by anything, and it is not preoccupied with any heedless thinking, so it can see things as they are. It can be aware of thoughts, mental intentions, emotions, fear, etc. It can also be aware of all movements like moving cars, all our physical actions and movements, etc. When mindfulness stabilizes, it will develop into a continuous flow. Then your seeing or awareness will be so different, because it can be aware of all life, physical, mental and nature's flow. The mind is just silent and aware, one with all phenomena without thought and always heedful. When one's mind is no longer preoccupied with all the heedless thinking, then there is a great clarity and one can see very clearly. Just like the saying goes, truth is everywhere, why can't you see? For those who see, they always see. That is when one is heedful, there is no thought. Only the senses are aware, so there is a lot of clarity. Everything is so clear. Without thoughts, there are no evil roots, i.e. no fear, no selfishness and emotional negativities, etc. So develop the silent mind with inner awareness to be heedful always. For more details on heedfulness, please refer to the recorded talk. 1.4. Question: how to overcome anger? Bharatio answered, when there is an anger arising, just be aware, don't think. Then silence your mind and sit back to relax. After a while, the agitation due to the stirring of your mind into anger via your heedlessness and delusion will slow down. Then suddenly it will become completely still. Then you will come to understand with joy clearly that if you don't react to the stir mind, then you are in your original natural state of mind, which is peaceful and calm, before the stirring. The analogy of a pool of still water will help illustrate the point. If stirred by a falling branch or a stone thrown onto it, the ripples will start to form. Wind and weather may also create waves, such like fear and anger, appearing in the mind due to external stimulus. A mind that is heedful, wise, and constantly aware will not be stirred by any delusion. Hence, it will be very calm and peaceful always. As habitual tendencies develop over the years are difficult to eradicate or do away with, one will need to be heedful most of the time. throughout their daily life to stabilize the wisdom to deal with the strong habitual negative tendencies. When the spiritual faculties of samadhi and enlightenment factor of equanimity are there, then one will no longer be entangled. The mind that is transformed will not react anymore, and instead it will just flow and accord with wisdom. When you try to share and there is no condition, but then others want to argue and want to be right, then you will say, yes, you are right, and let them be right, because they don't understand duality as yet, so just let things be. One must ask the question, right according to whom, and why one must defend oneself. It is because of the ego, the self-delusion and condition one's selfishness, emotional negativities and fear. Understand that things are just the way they are, no right, no wrong, via seeing things as they are. Grasping and clinging to sense experience via delusion is the cause of suffering. Only wisdom liberates and frees the mind, nothing else. With wisdom, one will be able to understand and appreciate life more and more. Part 2, Heart Sutra. Part 3, Meditation. 3.1. This is what you are supposed to see in your meditation. Question 1. During meditation, I heard and perceived the branches of the tree, and I returned to Anapanasati, but then the thoughts regarding the falling branches arise. May I have your comments? Bharatya answered, this is what you are supposed to see in your meditation, because there is this subtle grasping going on within the mind. Meditation is to uncover all these unhealthy delusion and unwholesome subtle attachments to what we perceive with every moment of our conscious sense experiences via our trained mind in heedfulness or silent inner awareness to understand what is going on in our own form and mind, how we are conditioned into thinking and reaction of mind, likes and dislikes, via our own self-delusion or sakaya-ditthi. Why do these moments arise and not other thoughts? And we also see clearly how we are conditioned into grasping and clinging, leading to the suffering caused by our own self-delusion, selfishness and emotional negativities, the 3 evil roots, which are the roots of all evil. In this particular case, there is this curiosity of mind due to ignorance that condition your grasping to what you perceived earlier, which is the falling branches. This is attachment to one of our 5 aggregates of form and mind, and in this case, it is the perception aggregate. So the first of the dependent origination link of avijja, paccaya, sankhara, or dependent on ignorance, sankhara, which is mental activities, comes to be. Hence the thought or thinking about the falling branches. This is witnessing how your mind functions and via all this heedfulness training, you will also witness all of the Buddha's teaching like the 4 Noble Truths and the 12 links, etc. in your own life experiences via your daily mindfulness to understand who you are and what you are, including how you function as a human being, how the sense door consciousness and the stirring of mind come to be, etc. So as to develop the requisite wisdom and understanding leading to the subsequent awakening via insight into the 3 characteristics of nature, anicca, dukkha and anatta, especially the anatta universal characteristics. 35th and 36th Heart Sutra class. 1.1. To develop the heedfulness needed to cultivate the meditation. To develop the heedfulness needed to cultivate the meditation as taught by the Buddha, one must at least understand what is heedfulness and what is meditation as taught by the Buddha in order to start. It is just like you have a problem and you come to a meditation teacher and he said to you, just meditate and your problem will be resolved. Is this going to be useful if you do not even want to find out what your problem is? How can you start solving your problem when you do not know what your problem is? Similarly with meditation, if you do not understand what meditation is, then how can you start developing it? Meditation and cultivation must be done with understanding so that one is not gullible. Dhammapada verses 21, 22 and 23 already stress the importance of heedfulness. So heedfulness must be a part of you in order to realize the enlightenment. Continuous heedfulness is the key to the noble life. Those without heedfulness cannot become enlightened. Please refer to the earlier 34 Heart Sutra notes for the detailed explanation of what heedfulness is. As meditation is a very general word, it is important to understand the meditation as taught by the Buddha. The real meditation as taught by the Buddha is to develop the wisdom via insight into the three universal characteristics of nature, anicca, dukkha, and anatta, so as to be at peace with all situations whenever you are, termed upadhi viveka. For fully relax and be aware to develop the wisdom born of direct seeing. The thought must not interfere. There is just clarity of mind leading to the awakening or insight into the three universal characteristics of nature. The mind that is liberated is so free. It understands that all of phenomena, whether physical, mental, and natures, are all empty, and they are all conditioned arising or causal phenomena following nature's law. This is deep penetrative wisdom. In cultivation, we should thank those people who are not so friendly and constantly make things difficult for us, because they are the ones that give us the condition to test our cultivation. Hence, we should perceive them with wholesomeness and wisdom via accepting them as they are, then expressing our gratitude towards them. Then great compassion will naturally arise in our mind. Do not perceive any situation with negativity, for the absence of negativity is good. So don't try to do good, because without wisdom, one can end up becoming just a good-hearted fool. The enlightened ones are so heedless, chasing and clinging after so many things in life. They still grieve and worry about life despite having so many things and possessions, for their lack contentment and wisdom to live life. The first noble truth of dukkha that expounds so clearly the 8 realities of life and existence need to be understood. Otherwise, they can really make human beings miserable. Without understanding the true Dhamma as taught by the Buddha, suffering will be the final result. So strive on with heedfulness and do not be heedless. Please listen to the recorded tape for more details. Part 3, meditation. The same worrying and fearful thoughts keep coming back. Question 1. While cultivating mindfulness in daily life, I was able to be mindful most of the time. I was able to be mindful most of the time when I'm going about living the normal life. But when confronted with work-related and personal problems, I find it very difficult to maintain that heedfulness, and I realize the same worrying and fearful thoughts keep coming back to haunt me. How can I overcome this? Bharatio answered, this is a very good question. Yes, when there are no first noble truth realities to disturb us, cultivating heedfulness or mindfulness in daily life is fairly easy. The challenge is when one is confronted with first noble truth realities of birth, old age, sickness and death, threatening separation from the loved ones and one's prized possession, etc., like work-related and personal health, career, relationship and financial problem, etc. Can your mind still be peaceful and calm to cultivate the requisite heedfulness? This is most difficult, but it can still be done if one has developed the appropriate wisdom to confront them with right understanding. This is the reason why Buddha constantly advised the bhikkhus to reflect on the 5 daily contemplations and to strive on with heedfulness to arise the much needed wisdom to overcome all these first noble truth realities. 3.2. The 5 daily contemplations are as follows. 1. Our body is of the nature to decay and grow old, for it has not gone beyond old age and decay. 2. Our body is of the nature to be diseased or sick, because it has not gone beyond diseases and sicknesses. 3. Our body is of the nature to die, for it has not gone beyond death. 4. All our loved ones, wealth, property, and other prized possessions, etc., which we hold on to so clearly, they will all one day separate from us, or we separate from them when our breath stops. 5. This is the great law of karma. That is also the first right view that we must develop or have to begin our cultivation. Each and every one of us, including all living beings, we are all born our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of our karma. This is the great law of karma. Since karma is so important, we must all take care of our karma via avoiding all evil, do good and purify our minds, which is the advice of all Buddhas, to develop the strong karmic nature, to bring about the good life every time we come or choose to come. Once the wisdom born of one's cultivation and above constant reflection and contemplation has stabilized, then these projections of wrong thoughts to haunt you will not have power over you. Wrong thoughts are deluded thoughts that condition one's fear, worry, anxiety, and suffering, while one's self-delusion or Sakaya Ditti that condition one to cling onto the five aggregates as the I and me, hence heedlessness. So ultimately, it is wisdom that really frees and liberates one's mind. Job pressures, deadlines, and targets can be very stressful within the job and career environment, and if one has not developed the wisdom to confront them with understanding, it is not easy. The same goes for personal problems. So the Dhamma understanding to confront all these First Noble Truth realities is very important. And this is the reason why the Buddha's final advice before his passing away is to strive on with heedfulness, to develop the requisite wisdom to liberate one's mind. 3.3. Understanding the meditation as taught by the Buddha. Dhammapada verses 21, 22, and 23 confirm the importance of heedfulness in order to become enlightened. Heedfulness or appamada equal to ever mindful, sati, plus to cultivate the Dhamma and the meditation as taught by the Buddha. So the first thing we must do when starting this meditation is to train our mind to be in sati, or silent inner aware, to be ever mindful without thought most of the time first. Then only use this trained mind in sati to meditate and cultivate the Dhamma as taught by the Buddha. How do we train this mind to be mindful and aware most of the time? First, we must understand why we are most of the time heedless and not mindful or aware and peaceful. According to the Buddha, it is because of the 5 mental hindrances that condition our heedless thinking, thereby stirring mind and hindering our mind from returning to its natural meditative state of inner peace and calmness before the stirring. The 5 mental hindrances are sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, lethargic or sleepiness, restlessness or agitated mind due to fear, worry, anxiety, doubt. The 5 mental hindrances condition our heedless thinking, lack of peace and awareness, so we must reverse all this while cultivating the opposite five, which are the 5 spiritual faculties. Saddha, or confidence in the Buddha and his teaching. Viriya, or spiritual zeal, tenacity to cultivate heedfulness. Sati, or mindfulness or awareness. Samadhi, or collectedness of mind, unwavering mind, and Panya, or wisdom. To cultivate these 5 spiritual faculties, the Buddha recommends the pre- and post-puja or devotional practices of paying respect or homage to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and taking refuge in them, followed by the renewal of 5 precepts, chanting the various salutations to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, etc. The paying of respect and the taking care of refuge, followed by the chanting of the various salutations, is to develop the faith of Saddha and Viriya spiritual faculties. Then the paying of respect or mindful reverential salutation is to develop the composed mind to be mindful while paying respect to the Buddha. So do not underestimate the importance of puja in cultivation process. When sati is developed, samadhi will come to be, and with sati and samadhi, one will be able to have the clarity of mind, to see things as they are without the interference of thoughts, via the sati in direct seeing, hence awakening to the truth leading to the wisdom. Then to decondition the heedless thinking, we use the mind-sweeping method as a skillful means to train our mind just to feel and relax, no more thinking. As we sweep the mind through our body, this will allow the mind to naturally relax and calm down on its own. We can also combine it with the radiating of metta or loving kindness to develop the inner well-being and wholesome state of mind to enhance our meditation. After the mind-sweeping method and metta training, our mind should be more relaxed, calm and peaceful. Then we can use it to develop sati, the silent mind with inner awareness, via the anapanasati, or mindfulness of the in and out breath, training as taught by the Buddha in his Kayanupassana practices. After that, when sati is already quite stable, we should move on to the mindfulness of the 4 postures, followed by the sati sampajana, or daily mindfulness with clear comprehension, training as described in the Kayanupassana 6 categories of practices. Once sati is established, use it to cultivate the 3 turnings of the 4 Noble Truths and the 4 foundations of mindfulness to complete the training. The real meditation as taught by the Buddha is the cultivation of the Noble Eightfold Path, leading to the cessation of all suffering and enlightenment in the here and the now. Summary of cultivation. Train the mind to be heedful via puja or devotional practices. The daily religious routine will be useful. Mind sweeping method and metta, anapanasati, mindfulness of the 4 postures, and mindfulness and clear comprehension of all action and all movements in the present moment, or daily mindfulness and clear comprehension training. Once heedful, use the trained mind to cultivate the 3 turnings of the 4 Noble Truths and the 4 foundations of mindfulness or satipana practices. (37) Heart Sutra class. 1.1 Understanding the 3 conditions for Brother Teo's Dharma sharing. In order not to arise any unnecessary misunderstanding or karmic consequences, Brother Teo had been reluctant to share his Dharma understanding until about 9 years ago, when he was approached 3 times by a very sincere sister of the Dharma, asking him to share his rather good understanding of the Dharma. Brother Teo then contemplated and finally agreed to share the Dharma, but with the following 3 conditions. 1. Call it a Dharma sharing instead of a Dharma talk, because a talk could be like a one-way traffic, not offering any chance of having a fair discussion to clarify matters from the audiences. Also, sharing means no authority over one another, and as Dharma friends, we are here to share our understanding of the Dharma without mutual respect for each other's cultivation, i.e., I respect you for what you are, and hopefully you can also respect me for what I am. 2. No wrong, no right, and no wrong. If it is beneficial to you, use it. If it is not, have an open mind, because we are not here to argue about right and wrong. Right and wrong is just a relative measurement or opinion as expressed by someone according to their views and opinions, and is not something absolute. As such, it is not beneficial at all. If we are not careful, it may lead to unnecessary arguments and misunderstandings too. 3. To have an open mind to listen attentively and take or make use of whatever that is useful and beneficial to progress along the path of Dharma. Also, do not quote me, because it can be very dangerous. If you quote me what I said without understanding what I meant, it can get both of us into unnecessary trouble. Just say Brother Teo shared with us his understanding of the Dharma, which we have come to appreciate a lot, because the Dharma, which is very difficult and profound topic, can be made so simple and taught to us with such clarity that we can so easily relate to it in our daily life. As always pointed out by Brother Teo, according to Brother Teo, life itself is the meditation, and life itself is where the Dharma is, and life itself is our greatest teacher. Truth is everywhere, in the midst of life and nature, so why can't you see? For those who see, they always see. Wisdom cannot be learned or taught because it is not a rigid knowledge. Wisdom needs to be awakened to or realized because it is an overall understanding. Dharma is about realization, and it can only be understood by the wise each for themselves. No one else can understand it for us. At different levels, wisdom is realized differently. If you can understand the deep meaning behind this Surangama saying, perception of form is consciousness, whereas its non-perception is wisdom, then you will have some form of wisdom born of understanding the mind Dharma. For everything is conditioned arising and mind-made are there, so not so real. It is only the mundane mind creating the phenomenal world through its own mental perception and consciousness, like the following Zen sayings. Mountains are just mountains, mundane seeing. Mountains are not mountains, direct seeing. Mountains are mountains again, seeing things as they are. First, you see mountain as mountain. This is conventional or mundane seeing. Then you see mountain as not mountain. This is seeing with the above Surangama's sayings understanding. Finally, you see mountain still as mountain again. This is seeing things as they are with understanding that everything is suchness or what is, able to accept things as they are, hence able to accommodate both the conventional and ultimate realities to live life with wisdom and understanding. 1.3 Zen Analogy. Two monks were arguing about the temple flag waving in the mind. One said the flag moves, the other said the wind moves. They argued back and forth but could not agree. Hui Neng, the sixth patriarch, said, "Gentlemen, it is not the flag that moves, it is not the wind that moves, it is your mind that moves." The two monks were struck with awe. This is because Hui Neng knew that these monks still have form delusion. So he prompted and hinted to them to see the next level, which is mind Dharma. To refer earlier Heart Sutra notes for the detailed explanation of the Zen analogy.
So this one is a very famous Zen analogy. Yeah? In fact, most Zen classes, they keep on sharing this analogy. So for conventional people, even the novice monk at that time, they haven't learned the Dhamma. They haven't had the understanding to understand what this phenomena is. So there is a flag waving. Then somebody thought he very smart. Huh? He said the flag move. Then another fellow countered, he said, "No, the wind move. No wind, the flag doesn't move." So who is correct? Of course, both also correct. Because conventional seeing, understand? Still got flag, still got wind. They cannot see beyond form, understand? But the one that perceives the movement is who? Your mind, your mundane mind, understand? That's why Hui Neng knew these two guys still have form delusion, understand? Haven't have the understanding to go beyond form, to understand that it is the mundane mind that see all this movement. So because of that, Hui Neng said, "No, your mind move." This is to bring them to what? Bring them to what? To cultivate beyond the form, understand? So that because from form, like I explained here, this is a phenomenal world of consciousness and form, external manifestation of mind. Chan, after you help me to write, external manifestation of mind. Everything, there already. Oh, yeah, very good, okay. External manifestation of mind created via your mental consciousness. You become conscious of it, understand? How do you see the flag? You perceive it through your seeing consciousness. Yeah, that is your mental consciousness. Through the senses, understand? Without the senses, you cannot arise that consciousness, understand? So all these external manifestation of mind created by your mental consciousness, they are the form, understand? Can you understand? So this form, if you are deluded, mundane people always argue over external manifestation, because they think it's real. And they are interested in what? Right and wrong. That's why they don't know that this one arrived because of the senses that created it. That's why I call it external manifestation. It manifests like magic. Open your eye, everything arises already. Like come into existence already. That's why you are the greatest magician. You create, understand? Your consciousness creates so much thing in this existential world. And yet you don't know. No? You someone like to go and see magic show and see all those illusionists performing all those things. But you yourself are the greatest magician. So this one is the reason why the flag and the wind analogy become very interesting. So when Huining intentionally say your mind move, is to let them meditate so that they can come back to this mundane mind. To realize that it is through this mundane mind, like the Buddha said, mind is the forerunner of all things, mind is chief. When this mind arrives, all creation arises. External manifest, phenomenal world consciousness. This is how the creation arises. So when you start to understand this, then you move from the external manifestation form back to mind. Understand? And the reason why Huining say your mind move, because they are not even at this level, because they cannot see form. They cannot understand how form come to be. They are still trapped at form. So to teach them to see beyond form, you have to teach them to see mind. But in the poem that he wrote to counter Shen Xiu, what did he write? He wrote about the true mind, understand not? Originally, there was nothing. 本来无有，何处惹? He has already gone beyond mind. Then why did he tell the monk, your mind move? Now you see the point. Because a wise person, when they know that you are not ready, they will teach you the next one. Not the one before, because you will not be able to follow. That's why you realize over the last 20 over years of my sharing, I cannot teach all those that I share the last few years. If I start teaching that, nobody can follow, I tell you. Because when I came out in the year 2004, I tried to teach people basic Dhamma. They cannot follow. Hardly anybody can follow. At that time, I still remember I told the first batch guy, that anybody who can understand 10% of what I share, he is already a very good cultivator. So because of that, the teaching has to be gradual. Provisional teaching, moving on to the basic sainthood way teaching. Then from there, only come to the Bodhisattva way teaching. So the Zen story didn't end there. After that, many years later, after 6 patriarchs also passed already, so a lot of their descendants, their students, they were having a seminar discussing about the flag and the wind. Then somebody asked a question. Why did Huining say, your mind move? Huining already gone beyond mind. So there were a lot of discussion, even well-practiced monk. Then there was a lady that helped out in the kitchen, cook for them. This lady actually enlightened already, have very good understanding. So she was actually aware of all their discussion, everything. Then she bring the food and pass by, then hinted to them, where got mine? Just the word, where got mine? You go and write here. Where got mine? You know what happened or not? A lot of the disciples become enlightened. Why? Just this word, where got mine? How do you develop that? And now I repeat, where got mine? Can you awaken or not? Because he wants to bring them to here, that's how not. That's why straight away, when you know that this is illusionary, this one comes about from here. So where got mine means like Huining's poem, that's how not. The one that Shen Xiu call mind is actually the mundane mind. Mirror bright on a stand, polish until it shines, so that no dust can alight. And that is the mundane mind. That's why Huining say, Bohi is not a tree. Then that mundane mind, Ming Jing Yi Fei Tai, because it's not the true mind. The true mind has none of this. What is the true mind's characteristic? 本来无有, originally empty. Nothing. Then how can the dust alight here? Because this one, no word, no duality, nothing. That's why when you are ready, just the word flash through, they awaken. Yeah, where got mine? If you have not meditated with the awareness-based meditation, if you have not developed this, then you cannot understand. But the monks who have developed this, they straight away awaken, no, where got mine? Yeah, when I'm here, there is no mundane mind to create the wind and the flag. You understand? Can follow or not? Ah, so, so the teaching is actually very profound. That's why different level you see different things. 看山是山, mundane seeing, mundane perception, mundane argument. 看山不是山 means you go beyond the mundane mind seeing, understand? But this one mundane seeing perceived through mundane conventional truth, words and concepts. 看山不是山 means they are here already. Direct seeing, through the pure awareness. No word, no concept like the baby. Seeing things as they are. Then how to label it as mountain? Nothing, just that thing. Suchness. Then when they have this understanding, they will tell you, 看山不是山, the next level of seeing. Then later on, when they understand this until very stable, they say, no point arguing with people. Then develop the next stage of stability of understanding seeing, suchness seeing. Suchness seeing means whoever comes, he can agree. If this fellow talk to him like conventional language, 看山是山, yes, mountain, agree. Then harmony, understand? No need to argue. Then the other one, enlightened one, come, 看山不是山, yes, very good, also agree. But if the lay people who don't understand, what is my teacher doing? That fellow say, 看山是山, also correct, very good. 看山不是山, also correct, also very good. They will be confused, but the enlightened one understand. The suchness seeing is the ultimate seeing to live life, understand? So that you can assimilate back into society and become normal again, normal seeing, normalcy existence. Can follow or not? Okay, continue.
Bodhisattva's son died. No crying, no sorrow and lamentation. Why? Because the Buddha knew whatever that is of the nature to arise is also of the nature to cease. And what has been born has already ceased to be. So no amount of sorrow or lamentation can bring back the dead. We have been born so many times, so which one of the many eons of segmented lives or birth and death is you? Cameron Hiron retreats, stillness.
Wait. This number 2 one, you all can understand. Can you have this wisdom to live life? Because this is a real story, Jataka story. The Buddha's own son, because of karmic, somehow the snake actually killed him. Then he didn't develop any sorrow or lamentation. No. Then he just calmly, quietly, with the understanding, do what he has to do. Then he saw a lady pass by from the same village. Then he told the lady, he said, please, when you go back to the village, inform my wife, today, bring meal only for 2. Then bring some, they call what? Incense. Not incense. Perfume and all things. And straight away, the wife knew one of the children no more already. Then they came. The wife also didn't lament. Then he prepared all the, you cremate. That time they cremate. They gather all the firewood and all those things. Then they just cremate. Then the king was nearby, saw the fire, saw the thing, Then he went and inquired, may I know who is it that you are cremating? So the Bodhisattva said, my son. Huh? Your son? You are not crying, not lamenting. It doesn't look like it's your son, no sorrow, nothing. And you know what the Buddha told him? The Buddha to be the Bodhisattva, he said, you listen to this. He said, because whatever there is of the nature to arise is also of the nature to cease. This is a very powerful wisdom. And what has been born has already ceased to be. So that is a reality, understand or not? You have to accept that. So no amount of sorrow and lamentation can bring back the dead. This is real wisdom. You can follow that. Do you understand what he said? Whatever is of the nature to arise is of the nature to cease. Condition arising, understand or not? It's a phenomenon. Hey, no you, hey, no me, understand or not? The form and mind is not real. But within the existential world, there is the law of karma, understand or not? You have the duty to do, you have the filial piety, understand or not? Then you need to do the funeral, the cremation, the what, then send whatever blessing or share merit, transformation. You do that one. Understand or not? But why you want to cry? Why you want to develop all the sorrow, the lamentation? That's why I always tell you, no amount of sorrow and lamentation can help you. It makes you miserable, understand or not? Because of attachment, clinging. Ayo, my son, my... The Buddha already say, all these people who say, my loved one, my wealth, my property, whatever they own dearly, this only the fools lament. Because that very body also don't belong to him. Wherein son, wherein wealth, wherein property, etc. Those that have the Dhamma can see this, understand or not? So you cling on to this for what? You can love, you can do your duty, support, provide, but don't pamper them. But don't attach and cling. You know, dependent originating. Like I said, no reality, empty nature, understand or not? The only reality is within the moment. It's only your thought that carry it, understand or not? Moment to moment, moment to moment. There is no reality. You think life is very real. Everything you project and create through the phenomenal world, you think is real. Of course lah, you say I can enjoy your music, nice music, then I can see now the video, the IT advancement, level of sensuality, so much fun now. You can have the means. Then there are a lot of video nowadays you can see the rich one, how they live their life. Really. There are a few short videos I remember I saw. They managed to interview, not the real super rich, means they are average, I think above average. They rich enough to actually retire and live that good life. And these people are very, they have their ideology and parami also. And they got their own private jet on. Yeah. So he asked for permission to go with them, interview them, and do a short video clip. Because he has done a few. So some of these, not famous yet, but wealthy enough to own private jet on, they allow him to go and interview. And he go and do. Then their lifestyle, fantastic. But it's not simply spend money. They have their understanding and principle. So what happened is, he asked them, he said, what do you do for a living? Then he said, got one of them, I think 20 years old, He said, I don't work. He said, huh? You don't work? Then how your money come? He said, I invest. Then I make this money. Then now, I don't even look at it. My mother is handling it. He never said my wife is handling it. He said my mother is handling it. He leave everything to the mother. Then he asked him the next question. How much do you think you spend average one day? You guess how much? Yeah? Not one day, 1 year. Yeah. US dollar. How much? Make a guess. This guy is not really rich. He said about 5 million US. To him, it's nothing. And the way they fly with the private jet, wow, they go there, all the people, the band, all those things, they get ready for it. They know this fellow can afford. And they really live life. And these people, they have a lot of happiness, a lot of joy. But they don't harm people. They don't hurt people. They are not the mafia type and all those things. So there are people. That's why I say you can afford, have the means. It's up to you, understand? But it is life. As long as you don't violate the law of karma, you can actually, I don't like to use the word enjoy life, understand? You can really witness and live that type of possibility, you know. Do you understand? Yeah? Can you understand or not? But wait till you have the money first. So this one is just to let you know everything is not so real. But they do a lot of donation. They have a lot of philanthropy, generosity. That's why they have the parami. The wealth come to them. Understand? Okay. Continue.
Cameron Highlands Retreat, stillness, breeze, Dharma contemplation. When your mind is...
This one, you want to learn contemplation around this temple, you read this one. You listen to this one.
When your mind is silent and still, all of nature's phenomena plus mental and physical phenomena can be perceived clearly because they keep on arising via mental perceptions and consciousness within your silent or true mind. When at the retreat you are very relaxed, at ease and heedful most of the time, so Dhamma contemplation can arise easily. And there is Dhamma in everything that comes within your field of perception and awareness.
So now you understand. Your field of perception, the pure perception within the awareness, they are everywhere. That's why I wrote here, Cameron Highland Retreat. The stillness, the breeze, Dhamma contemplation. When the mind is silent and still, mark it. You must have this mind, otherwise you cannot understand all this and experience all this. All of nature's phenomena, plus mental and physical phenomena, can be perceived clearly because they keep on arising via what? Mental perception, isn't it? Via your pure perception, the awareness keep on aware. And consciousness means the mundane consciousness within your silent and true mind. When at the retreat, because you are very relaxed, you are not lost in thought, worry here, worry there, and becoming restless, then you can have this mind that is very, very free, at ease, relaxed, and heedful most of the time. So Dhamma contemplation can easily arise, and there is Dhamma everywhere that comes within your field of perception and awareness. So this understanding is cultivation, okay? Read on, my friend.
Part 2, Report of Meditation, 2.1. Meditation is not just about developing calmness. Question: when I focus on an object to meditate, I can feel there is a grasping. Thus, I change to free flow and find it more relaxing, and there is better blood circulation with better awareness. Paratyo answered, meditation is not just about developing calmness nor having good and bad meditation experiences, but it is about developing wisdom via the silent mind in awareness to insight into the three universal characteristics of dukkha, anicca, dukkha and anatta. Meditation or bhavana consists of two parts, samadhi and panya. First part is samadhi, which is the path factors of samma, sati and samadhi, i.e. training the mind to be in sati or mindfulness leading to the samadhi, or collected and unwavering mind, to arise the heedfulness needed for cultivating insights. Then the second part is to use the trained mind in sati and samadhi to meditate and cultivate the Dhamma as taught by the Buddha, leading to heedfulness to develop the panya or wisdom. So how can you do that? Can you do that by focusing on an object of meditation? Or must you just train your mind to be aware via a skillful means or a meditation object? The latter will lead you to an understanding of what you are doing in the name of meditation. So whatever happens in meditation, as long as you are silent and aware to understand what is going on, then wisdom can arise. If we have expectation that meditation must lead to calmness and good meditative experiences, then we have a problem where it doesn't happen. Most yogis tend to react and chase after good meditation, and what they do is they become unhappy and agitated when they cannot get what they want or expect. Hence, their mind is not at peace with the moment. This lack of understanding is the main problem that traps most yogis. You must understand that the moment you are in silence, you are already aware and heedful. So you don't have to be aware. The trying...
Don't have to try to be aware.
You don't have to try to be aware. The trying is by the thought, and if thought is active, how can your mind be silent and aware? The 5 mental hindrances that hinder your mind from becoming peaceful and calm will arise as long as your mind is deluded and heedlessly lost in thoughts. The habitual tendencies of heedless thinking is the main problem. So to counter these 5 mental hindrances, we need to cultivate the opposite 5 spiritual faculties of Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi and Panya via cultivating the following. 1. The devotional practices or puja to develop the faith and Viriya and Sati. 2. The mind-sweeping method and metta to decondition the heedless thinking via just feel and relax, no more thinking. Then 3. Cultivate anapanasati or mindfulness of the in and out breathing to stabilize the sati born of the above training leading to the silent mind, sati followed by samadhi and panya. There was a question raised by a yogi during the last Saturday meditation class as to why the random thoughts keep on arising during the meditation. I told her, this is good because at least now you are aware to be aware of your own lack of peace and understanding why your random thoughts keep arising. Why these thoughts and not other thoughts? When you are aware of this without any reactions of mind and agitation or trying to do anything, then what happened? You will come to realize that these random thoughts arise due to your attachment or clinging to a lot of those mind activities that affected you during your daily life. And these arising thoughts have a lot to do with the memories, which you had deposited or accumulated scars of memories into your brain over the years. And since thoughts are response to memories, that is how random thoughts arise during your meditation. But if you just let it to be and remain just silent and aware, then these random thoughts will start to slow down on their own until there is just stillness or quietness. Also, if you don't cling and live your life with heedfulness and wisdom, all this clinging and grasping and accumulation will cease to be, and you will be very peaceful most of the time. 6 is the 3 universal characteristics of nature.
VI is not 6, not the Roman 6. VI, V.
V is the 3 universal characteristics of nature, and Pasana is to insight into. Hence, Vipassana is the meditation that leads to the ability of the mind to insight into these 3 universal characteristics of nature to arise the wisdom needed to liberate the mind. So meditation is about insight and not about good or bad meditation. Reaction of mind is due to one's wrong views that condition the arising of the wrong thoughts, leading to the fear, worry, anxiety, and restlessness of mind. Understanding via awareness how these wrong thoughts come to be and how they condition our fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and lamentation, etc., via thoughts, projections, and purification is very important. Then understand how Dhamma can allow us to develop the wisdom needed to free our mind, leading to the peace and tranquility within. This is meditation. 38 Heart Sutra class, 1.1.
This part, listen, form Dhamma and mind Dhamma is something to do with the flag and wind analogy.
1.1 Form Dhamma and Mind Dhamma. It is important to understand what is form Dhamma and what is mind Dhamma. For example, I am a religious person. My religion says I cannot take certain types of meat, not permitted. I cannot touch or use the bowl that contains this type of meat, used by people of other religions. Then by the same logic, they shouldn't breathe the air that the people of other religions have breathed or the money that they have used. This type of action puts emphasis only on the form Dhamma, i.e. they only deal with the form and are not able to see the mind as yet. Form has so much meaning to them, hence they can be deluded by it, and it is because of their attachment to form Dhamma that condition them to cling to the external forms and identify with them as right or wrong, spiritual or non-spiritual. Outwardly, they are to become more spiritual, but inwardly
outwardly they try.
Outwardly, they try to become more spiritual, but inwardly, at the mind level, they are still barren.
So the word is very good, They are still barren. You know where's the word barren, all your moral principle, you talk about outside thing, form level, but inwardly, your evil root that manifests, your selfishness, your secret, everything, you can never see, That's why inwardly you never cultivate. You are like barren, understand? So form Dhamma, no meaning to impress people, understand? Okay? Continue.
Outwardly, they try to become more spiritual, but inwardly, at the mind level, they are still barren, because they cannot see their rather latent defilements, evil mental intentions and thoughts. Another example is taking vegetarian. When you don't understand why are you vegetarian, then the same problem will arise. Some people are vegetarian because they thought by doing so they will be more spiritual and compassionate, because they don't cause to kill anymore. There may be some truth in the statement, but if you don't have the clear understanding of why you go vegetarian, then delusion can still creep in you, because you fail to understand that spirituality has nothing to do with what you eat. For spirituality is about cultivating the mind and purifying it to develop wisdom to liberate our mind. Otherwise, all the herbivorous animals like the cows, the goats, and the horses would have been enlightened, because they are vegetarians all the time, for they only eat grass, and the funny part is, what they eat finally becomes meat too. The other important point that one needs to understand is, for the true cultivators of the way, there will come a time for them to go vegetarian, and they will know when and why. For their cultivation has reached the mind level, and they are so sensitive and so clear with their understanding that they are ready to go vegetarian. This is a good understanding. But what happens when you don't have this type of understanding? When your understanding and cultivation have not reached this level of refined compassion, then becoming vegetarians like the others has not much meaning, and it will not make you more compassionate and spiritual. It is like at form level, you are trying to impress others outwardly that you are a vegetarian, but inwardly your mind is still not ready, and so caused with all the cravings, selfishness, anger, hatred, jealousy, violence, to harm and kill, pettiness and fear, etc. All this you cannot see. So what is happening? This is attachment to form Dhamma and not cultivating the mind Dhamma at the mind level to develop the wisdom to understand beyond form Dhamma. This is like some devotees who chant to renew their 5 precepts but still break them. Outwardly they will say, I am a Buddhist, I cannot lie and steal or commit sexual misconduct, etc. But then inwardly they are really a Buddhist. As the true Buddhist and to be worthy of the Buddha, the minimum we should do is to be able to at least heed his advice to avoid all evil, cultivate goodness and wholesomeness, and purify our mind, right? 1. To avoid all evils, we will have to keep our 5 precepts while developing our mindfulness and heedfulness to diligently cultivate the first 2 right efforts. A. To abandon the unwholesome thoughts or mental intention that have arisen, and B. The other right effort to prevent the unwholesome thoughts from arising. 2. To cultivate goodness and wholesomeness, we need to cultivate the next two right efforts. To promote or arise the right thoughts, right speech, and right action that are still not in you. And the other right effort to refine upon whatever right and wholesome mental intentions and thoughts, action and speech that you have developed. As these four right efforts are cultivated at mind level, hence they are still thought-based cultivation, involving effort or the thought. A better way to cultivate goodness, wholesomeness, and blessings is to understand that the absence of evil is by itself already good. With this understanding, one only needs to cultivate the stability of daily mindfulness, leading to heedfulness to constantly avoid all evil mental intention that condition one's negativity. Then there will be no more need to use the four right efforts anymore. 3. To purify our minds, we need to go beyond thought to cultivate only mindfulness or sati, the silent mind, to see things as they are without the interference of thoughts via its views, opinions, and conditioning. This is direct seeing, which is also called the third turning cultivation, leading to the realization of bhavana maya panya, wisdom born of bhavana or the meditative discipline. At the mind level, you can still be deluded because you must understand that your mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief, and everything arises from the mind. So if one acts, speaks, and thinks with a wicked or unwholesome mind, then suffering will follow one like the wheel that follows the hoof. So even though the mind Dhamma is more important than form Dhamma, one can still get trapped at mind level if one continues to be deluded by the aggregates of mind. When we identify via form, then we will discriminate according to what we see or perceive, like male and female, old and young, beautiful and ugly, race, nationality, etc., like I am a Malay, Chinese, and Indian, leading to racial discrimination via identification with our external physical forms and appearances. When we are able to see beyond form, all these discriminations or divisions conditioned by form Dhamma will cease, but then mind Dhamma can still arise to cause similar division and discrimination. At mind level, we still have our views, opinions, belief systems, traditions and conditionings, etc., that can still divide and cause us to argue with one another. All these divisions and discrimination can only cease when we are able to see beyond form and beyond mind or thoughts, leading to the direct seeing with our true nature within, i.e. seeing things as they are, leading to the understanding of what is, suchness or tathata. The Buddha explains to us clearly how we perceive form via our mind, mental consciousness. This is the reason why the Buddha said, mind is the forerunner of all things and mind is chief. When mind arises, everything comes to be. So we can return all external forms to mind, then mind to our pure nature within to realize the truth of how creation via mental consciousness comes to be, leading to understanding of their impermanent, non-self and empty nature. When you awaken, your form and mind will cease and your true nature within or your essence will be realized as the oneness, the unconditioned and the timeless, beyond thought, beyond mind. The whole world is about suchness. Truth cannot be monopolized by any religion or anyone because truth is not your truth or my truth, for what they are our own opinions of truth. Truth is whatever that can explain the way things is. So what is truth? Truth is Dhamma or nature's laws that govern all of life and existence. 1.2. According to Mahayana tradition, there are 3 levels of seeing mountains, and they are: first level seeing, mountains are mountains. Worldly mundane seeing, via the mundane mind leading to normal mundane seeing, conventional truth. Second seeing, mountains are not mountains. Spiritual direct seeing, via the silent mind leading to awakening, realizing that perception of form is consciousness, whereas its non-perception is wisdom, spiritual truth. Third level seeing, mountains are mountains again, mastery, gone beyond transcendental or suchness seeing. seeing things as they are after having the wisdom and can live life like a normal person again, ultimate or supra-mundane truth. Part 2, meditation. 2.1, I used to have pain and now I don't have. Why? Bharatio answered, you must investigate into it and find out yourself. Very likely it is because you are more calm now and your anapanasati cultivation has improved and you are more relaxed and mindful now. This is a good sign of slight progress, but meditation is not just about cultivating calmness or mind and having peaceful experiences leading to the so-called good meditation and then jump for joy and cling onto it unknowingly. It is like just random thoughts that arise during meditation. Yogis dislike it and call it bad meditation and they become unhappy. So is this meditation? When your mind still reacts to good and bad intent, meditation. Meditation is about developing wisdom via awareness to be at peace with all life situations. Even when random thoughts arise, the yogi can still develop the wisdom out of it if the yogis know how to develop the meditation via sati to understand how the random thoughts come to be via inquiring, why am I not peaceful? When we come to understand that we have been heedless for so long because we seldom train our mind to be in sati and we are seldom heedful, then we will understand that this mind is not peaceful because of the heedless way we have been living our life. This heedless living has conditioned our habitual tendencies of ceaseless thinking and reactions to sense experience, giving rise to the 5 mental hindrances, hence our lack of peace. If we just silence our mind via wisdom and not feed it with any more thought energies, like trying to focus and concentrate or do something to push away the random thoughts, then what happens? Try it and find out for yourself. You will be very surprised that the random thoughts will just slow down on their own and then become silent and still. This is a form of awakening and wisdom will arise. Then the yogi will suddenly understand with a lot of joy that the natural state of mind before the stirring and reaction of mind is already silent and still. So the cultivation of sati or mindfulness during meditation is not about doing with the right thoughts, but about understanding that the moment I'm silent without thought, I am already in sati. That means you don't have to practice mindfulness or try to be mindful anymore, because the practice or trying is by the thought. With thoughts so actively doing things, how can you be aware? So just silence your mind and then sati is automatically there, because sati is awareness before the knowing, the thought or the knowing. It is just a pure awareness leading to the direct seeing. Sati is the silence, choiceless awareness of what is. Heart Sutra class, Part 2 meditation. 2.1 The significance of the 3 turning of the Four Noble Truths. Question 1. Bharatio, the sutta said Buddha become enlightened through the self-realization. Then why is it all mentioned in the first sermon that the Buddha himself also had to go through the 3 turnings of the Four Noble Truths to become enlightened? Bharatio answered, the Buddha had already cultivated for 3 3/4 aeons to fulfill his 10 perfections cultivation prior to his full enlightenment in India 2006 plus years ago. So the Buddha also already a bodhisattva then, and he had cultivated the 3 turnings of the Four Noble Truths before. What happened was, when he became fully enlightened under the Bodhi tree, he inherited all his past perfections and cultivations. Hence, he knew the 3 turnings of the Four Noble Truths are very important. In the first sermon, the Buddha's opening statement is to advise the 5 ascetics to avoid the 2 extremes of sensual indulgence and self-mortification via following the middle path, which is the Noble Eightfold Path as proclaimed by him. The deeper meaning of the middle path is to transcend all dualities. In the early days when I was cultivating the Buddha Dhamma, I haven't really heard of these 3 turnings of the Four Noble Truths. But I was indeed very lucky because I met a Thailand monk, Prat Ajahn Yantra Amaro Bhikkhu in 1988, and it was he who constantly, not less than 6 times, advised me to contemplate all the dhammas spoken by the Buddha until they become very, very clear. I didn't know that this was the second turning of the Four Noble Truths until much later. He also emphasized a lot on the importance of cultivating the daily mindfulness. Because of my very strong sada or faith in Ajahn Yantra and the Triple Gem, I cultivated this Dhamma contemplation or second turning wisdom and the daily mindfulness a lot, and my understanding of the Buddha Dhamma started to stabilize, and my progress along the path of Dhamma became very smooth and fast. It was only in the year 2004 when I was invited by a sister in the Dhamma to share the Dhamma that arises the condition for me to really look at the first Sermon Sutta. I remember it was at section 17, Selangor Vipassana Society, when she asked me what topic I wanted to start off with. I then saw a framed photo of the Buddha giving the first sermon to the 5 ascetics on the wall. So I said to her, since the Buddha started with that, I would also start with that first Sermon Sutta. I then asked her for a copy of the Sutta, so she kindly gave it to me. It was a Thai chanting book, and the moment I read the 3 turnings of the Four Noble Truths, straight away I could link my cultivation to it, and there was so much joy. I suddenly understood its meaning and how the 3 turnings correspond to the 3 types of wisdom that the Buddha talked about in the Sutta. I had developed my own cultivation following these 3 turnings without knowing that they were the 3 turnings of the Four Noble Truths. 2.2. Our mind can only do one thing at a time, and yet simultaneously I could be aware of a lot of other things. Why? Question 2. According to Brother Teo, our mind can only do one thing at a time. But in my meditation, how come I could be aware of my in and out breath, and simultaneously I could be aware of a lot of other things, like other thoughts, perceptions, and bodily sensation? Why is it so? Brother Teo answered, this is a very good question. You see, when your anapanasati had stabilized, your awareness will enable you to do that, because mindfulness of your in and out breath will help you to anchor your awareness there. With that awareness, silent mind with inner awareness of the breath, you can definitely be aware of your thoughts, perceptions, and bodily sensations or tactile consciousness. Because every time when you are aware, you are not thinking. So this awareness of all your other mental activities like perceptions, tactile, and thought consciousness are actually all separate entities. But because your mind can move so fast, it is as if you can multitask them, as if they are all happening simultaneously. When you are aware of the breath, there is no thought, i.e. mind and breath as one. But the moment you start to arise a perception of what you have perceived, your mental aggregate of sanya has arisen, so it is a separate entity. Then what do? Chances are you will deludedly react or grasp on it via your views and opinion. Unless you have wisdom or yoniso manasikara at the moment of sense experience, your feelings will be conditioned into craving of likes and dislikes almost immediately. With wisdom, mindfulness, and heedfulness, you can be aware of thought and its content. You can be aware at the moment of perception, feeling, and consciousness, etc. But the moment you are lost in thought or preoccupied with what you perceive, then your mind is no longer aware, and you have become heedless. The mind that is aware is always silent. Hence, the moment you are aware again, you don't perceive or think anymore. The mind with silent inner awareness is actually the oneness nature that can take in the entire phenomena world outside. 2.3. During meditation, I was more aware and able to sense the cooking smell as if in front of my nose. Why? Question 3. During my meditation, I was more aware and I was able to sense the cooking smell from behind the kitchen, as if it is right in front of my nose. Why? Brother Teo answered, when your mind is truly silent, you are aware, then this is possible, because the smell is just the smell consciousness. The smell can travel to your nose because you are more sensitive when the mind is silent and not preoccupied with other thinking or distracted by any worry or anxiety. If it is a vibration like a very distant sound, you can also be aware of it, and the vibration hearing consciousness is very clear and sort of magnified. The silent mind in awareness pervades the entire oneness. Meditation is not about inquiry, how come the mind is like that? Meditation is about developing the wisdom to understand clearly the universal laws that govern life and existence, and to understand how you function as a human being, and what this so-called human being is all about. It is also to understand how the mind works and function, thereby understanding clearly the 12 links, or law of independent origination as taught by the Buddha. The Dhamma or the truth is everywhere. Why can't you see? If only your mind is silent, you will be aware, then you can see. If it is as if all of a sudden you can awaken to it. Hearing the truth, contemplating and reflecting upon it can bring about a lot of joy. Wisdom is not a rigid knowledge, it must be awakened to. Thought is created via a focusing of the perceived with its content of consciousness that was introduced into it. Initially, it is just spacious, pure awareness and silence. Learn to see how thought arises. When the mundane mind collapses, the pure awareness nature or supramundane mind will shine forth and will be a lot clearer. Fortieth Heart Sutra class. 1.1. Let things be, then investigate. When random thoughts arise, do not react, suppress or try to control them. Just let things be and flow with them. Then investigate and find out what happens when you do that. You will come to understand that they are just thoughts which come and go according to your mental conditioning. You will also come to understand that when your 5 mental hindrances are around, you are not peaceful. And when the 5 spiritual faculties are there, they will counter the 5 mental hindrances, and you are then naturally peaceful. No matter what happens, do not try to control or suppress thoughts. Only through understanding you free your mind, not through the doing via the thought which is egoic. You must investigate why you are like that and why you are not peaceful. The essential Dhamma as taught by the Buddha will enable us to see the dangers of the 3 evil roots of greed, hatred and delusion, the importance of hatefulness, and the importance of following the advice of the Buddha to avoid all evils via keeping the precepts, do good and purify the mind via cultivating the Noble Eightfold Path until one is awakened. Similarly, one will also see the importance of cultivating Dana, Sila and Bhavana based on the right view with regards to the 3 important spiritual laws, Karma Niyama, Chitta Niyama and Dhamma Niyama, that govern all of our life and existence, so as to understand and see the full picture of Dhamma cultivation clearly. 2.1. The 10 Dhamma realms, 10 法界, a Buddhist cosmology. The Buddhist cosmology consists of 10 Dhamma realms. First 4 realms are the realms of the saints or enlightened ones, and they are the realm of the Buddhas, 诸佛法界, the realm of the Bodhisattva, 菩萨法界, the realm of the conditioned enlightened ones, 圆觉法界, the realm of the sound hearer, 声闻法界. The other 6 realms are the realms of the living beings subjected to birth and death, and they are equivalent to the 31 planes of existence within the Theravada tradition. They are the realm of the heavenly beings, 天人法界, the realm of the human beings, 人道法界, the realm of the demon, 阿修罗法界, the realm of the animals, 畜生法界, the realm of the hungry ghosts, 恶鬼法界, the realm of the 地狱法界. Some of the great bodhisattvas like Guan Yin菩萨, 文殊菩萨, 普贤菩萨, and Earth Store 地藏王菩萨 have already fulfilled their 10 perfections to become Sammasambuddha, but due to their great compassion and love for the living beings, they have used their great vows to continue to come and save living beings. Just like Earth Store Bodhisattva, one of his vows is that if hell is not empty of living beings, he will not become a Sammasambuddha.
Yeah. Can you go down first? I wait for you to come. I talk about other things first. Okay, this Paticca Samuppada, we let Waifan read through first. Then afterwards, I will share with you the actual understanding.
2.2 Law of Dependent Origination of Paticca Samuppada. The first link is ignorance. Ignorance of what? The truth or realities of life and existence, i.e. lack of right views and with regards to the law of karma, Four Noble Truths, and the laws of cause and effect or dependent origination. Our major aspect of ignorance is Sakkaya Ditthi, or self-delusion. This is the sole culprit that conditions our grasping and holding onto all the creation of the mind as real and trying to own and possess them. Upon understanding clearly via meditation that there is no I and me or atta within these five aggregates of form and mind of ours, then there is no more wrong view or self-delusion to grasp and to cling onto the phenomenon world of consciousness created by the mind. With this wisdom, the form and mind can be free of all suffering. Because of this ignorance or wrong view, living beings think a lot, and thinking arises because they don't understand what is going on in life. So wanting to know and wanting to understand life, the living beings create more thinking or sankhara, hence becoming more heedless. As mind is also an organ of thoughts, so this thinking creates contact to trigger off mental consciousness or vijnana. Then within this vijnana there is the mental forms that enters the mind via perception or sanya. Hence arise the five aggregates of form and mind or nama rupa. Please read the Blue Book Dhamma discussion transcript on the law of dependent origination dated May 2008, based on a direct transcript from a recorded talk as given by me on 8 September 2005 for a more detailed explanation of all other links. Part 3 Meditation. 3.1 Can I be at peace with itchiness but not with pain? Why? Question 1 Brother Teo, why is it while meditation I can be at peace with most things like itchiness but not with pain? Brother Teo answered, if you can endure itchiness, you should be able to endure pain also, because they are quite similar. It is the result of understanding via meditation. Not being at peace with pain could be due to inability to relax into it via acceptance. That is, your mind have negative craving to push away that so-called painful sensation that you have labeled to be so, hence giving it the strength to become a hindrance of your mind, ill will. Your mind wants things your way, hence conditioning suffering in the mind when you cannot get what you want. You have to silence your mind and investigate, then you will understand what is going on. Meditation is to be done with understanding and not just to endure that pain without understanding. Inquire, why am I not peaceful or not silent? Understand the importance of the five spiritual faculties that are needed to counter the five hindrances of mind and the danger of allowing the hindrances of mind to be around. Then the answer will come to you through an understanding. Then you will know what to do. Try to just relax into the sensation and not labeling it as such. You see what happens. Develop wisdom to free. Always remember, only wisdom frees.
Okay. Pamasuri not back yet. Then maybe I will just she's here already. Okay. I know. 12 o'clock is lunch. You still got time. We still. Those on duty. Oh, gone down already. Then I share the next session. Okay. We continue 41. Okay.
41 Heart Sutra. 2.1 Definition, Way, Path, Extinction, Cessation. The seven mental factors of enlightenment, Satta Bojjhanga, are Sati, mindfulness or awareness, Dhamma Vichaya, Dhamma investigation, Viriya, spiritual zeal or tenacity to cultivate the Buddha Dhamma, Piti, spiritual joy or calmness or rapture, Passaddhi, tranquility, still mind or silent mind without thought. Mind already trained, initially it can still stir because the latent tendencies or anusaya are not rooted out as yet. Samadhi, a collected and unwavering mind that can see things as they are. Upekkha, equanimity of mind, born of wisdom, no more grasping or clinging and stirring of mind, and feeling at the moment of sense door contact will remain as pure feeling because there is wise attention or yoniso manasikara. Similarly, for perception, sankhara, consciousness, etc. For the arahants, their 5 aggregates of form and mind are pure aggregates and non-grasping because of their wisdom. Their minds cannot get into trouble anymore because the arahants are no longer deluded. Understand the non-self or anatta nature of our form and mind, then there will be no more delusion to condition us into dukkha. When grasping arises, you cease to have the enlightenment thought. The arahants still have outflow of thought, but no more ignorance. The wisdom is enough to liberate them from birth and death of their segmented life, the 5 aggregates of form and mind. 2.2. The Four Noble Truths, Chattari Ariya Sakka, Dukkha, suffering, Samudaya, cause of arising of suffering, Nirodha, extinction or cessation of dukkha, Nibbana, Magga, the way or path, Noble Eightfold Path leading to the cessation of all dukkha. Part 3, Meditation. 3.1. Now I understand that pain is just another negative expression of the feeling that I dislike, so I just relax and let it be without any aversion. Question 1. Bharatio, since the Cameron Highlands retreat, I am able to feel the different mind states in meditation, especially pain and other subtle emotions. How can I understand pain is just another negative expression of the feeling that I dislike, so I just relax and let it be without any aversion towards it? The mind is now more at peace, and because of that, it effortlessly drops to the heart. And when this happens, there are no more obstacles, and I feel hollow and free. Neither feeling the energy nor anything for that matter, I am then able to sit much longer without any feeling of numbness or pain anymore in the legs. Bharatio answered, this is very good understanding leading to a very good meditative experience that can stabilize one's insight. Most cultivators make the mistake of reacting to the tactile sensation that arises and label it as pain because of the mind's aversion towards their sensation. They do it without knowing that the moment they label it as pain, then a mental hindrance, ill will, has arisen. This mental hindrance of ill will hinders the mind from becoming peaceful. The lack of peace will condition the meditator to try to note or focus and concentrate the mind to push away the pain so as to become more peaceful. This is introducing thought into the meditation, hence no more heedfulness, because the doing of meditation is by the thought, which is actively trying to meditate to become peaceful. This is not knowing that you are already peaceful the moment you are silent and aware without thought, to just understand the truth and the reality of what is happening within the moment. You will start to understand how the form and mind can be conditioned into reacting to sense experiences via its own sakayaditi or self-delusion to grab onto the 5 aggregates of form and mind as the I and the me. This is real insight born of sati that can see things as they are and understand what is going on there, and then without any thought or thinking. Under Vedana Nupassana, the Buddha said, when there is feeling, whether pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, you must be aware. This awareness will enable you to understand how your mind, via its own wrong views and opinion, or self-delusion, reacts to the sensation and label it as pleasant and unpleasant sensation, or like and dislike, leading to the first 2 hindrances of mind. These hindrances of mind, which are sensual desire and ill will, are also part of the evil roots of greed and hatred. The moment this mind is aware of such delusion, the mind can just relax into the moment without any reaction. Meditation is just not about good, comfortable, peaceful, and beautiful meditation. It is about the development of wisdom to enable the mind to deal with all life situations without having to experience any more mental suffering. 3.2. Understanding the 5 ways to overcome the 5 mental hindrances and unwholesome thoughts that have arisen is also very important. The first two ways are: 1. Think of the direct opposite wholesome thoughts. 2. Contemplate the consequence or danger of holding or clinging onto these unwholesome or wrong thoughts. These two ways are still thought-based meditation, but they are important skillful means that can help the cultivator to overcome the unwholesome thoughts via the first two right efforts, whereas the third, fourth ways are meditative trainings as taught by the Buddha to help the cultivator develop the wisdom needed to free the mind from such unwholesome thoughts. This is especially so for the third way. The Buddha said, just silence your mind and don't do anything. Then the mind will settle down on its own to return to its natural state of silence and stillness before the stirring condition by one's self-delusion. This understanding can lead to profound wisdom. Just like J. Krishnamurti's famous quote, the very flowering of the unwholesome thought, like anger, etc., is the very ending of that thought. Then the Buddha, via its fourth way, trained the cultivator to develop true understanding of wisdom via tracing its origination factors and retrospectively reverse it via understanding to liberate the mind. The origination of these unwholesome thoughts is always via one of the sense doors consciousness, especially the seeing, hearing and thought consciousness sense doors. When we understand the cause behind the stirring of the mind, then we should contemplate the three turnings of the Four Noble Truths, especially the second turnings, until the wisdom is very stable and clear, so that the next time when we confront similar seeing or hearing or thought consciousness situations, we will not be deluded by them anymore and can have the wisdom to deal with the situation. The ability to silence the mind and to accept the reality of the moment without any reaction or judgment is wisdom. Then to be able to use this clarity of awareness or heedfulness to investigate the truth and the characteristics of all phenomena in our daily life is true meditation. The ability to accept the reality of all sensations or feelings is also wisdom. The mind can only understand what is going on via just a silent inner awareness to absorb the truth and the reality of the moment without any suppression or control of any emotion, i.e. just allowing it to flower to develop the wisdom that comes with it. Use the mind-sweeping method combined with metta to decondition your heedless thinking so that your mind can be trained to be in a state of relaxed, silent inner awareness to be heedful to meditate. This heedfulness will be able to investigate clearly how the tactile consciousness really comes to be. You just silence your mind to be aware, to investigate the truth and the reality of the moment, and you will understand how they arise and pass away with every moment of arising of tactile consciousness. You can then be aware of the pulling sensation to understand clearly how the form and mind function. There is always knowing element that can be aware of the pulling sensation phenomena that has arisen. The awareness of mind moment is always moment to moment, hence no reality at all, because they are all conditioned arising mental phenomena or consciousness only. But due to self-delusion, you will grasp and cling onto them, hence conditioning your suffering via wrong view. This understanding is very important to enable one to break free from the concept of self or self-delusion. 3.3. Meditation is not about right and wrong. Question 2. Brother Teo, when I meditate, I don't feel any pain, but I'm aware of thoughts. When aware, I tell myself to be silent and go back to Anapanasati. Is that correct? Brother Teo answered, meditation is not about right and wrong, but it is more towards realizing wisdom that can free our mind from all suffering. When you are just silent and aware, you are heedful, and in that heedful state, you can develop a lot of understanding via observing your own form and mind without any judgment or comment. You only need to continue doing Anapanasati when you need to train your mind to be aware so that it is not heedless. Once your heedfulness has already stabilized, technically you don't need to hold on to the Anapanasati training anymore. Similarly, for the mind sweeping and metta exercises too, for they are just skillful means to train the mind. The key is relaxation of body and mind, followed by the silent mind leading to a tranquil state of mind that has clarity and awareness within to see things as they are, thereby realizing the wisdom. So meditation has 4 important supports. They are relax, aware, 24 hours continuity, and trust. The key to meditation is awareness or sati, which is also the first factor of enlightenment. With awareness, you can develop the understanding of why mind is like that. How is it conditioned to react to sense experiences via your wrong and deluded views and opinions of things? That is Dharma investigation. Inquire deep into who is doing the meditation. What is the I and the me all about? Why did the Buddha say it is Sakaya Ditti or self-delusion? Why are the thoughts so active, judgmental, and intrusive? And why can't they just let things be? The moment you are aware, the Dharma will come to you. Understand it and awaken to it. Relax and be with the moment in silent awareness to experience all of the beauty of life and existence. Once you realize, you will know how to accord and flow. Then you will not be afflicted anymore. Hence, life becomes very meaningful and very beautiful. All this can be understood if you are not deluded. See how your attachment and craving arise during your meditation when you lack wisdom. Most cultivators attach to the good and calm meditation. They hold on to all the things that their mind has created via their consciousness and its content, not knowing these things are all impermanent and empty, thus causing suffering the moment that grabs onto them. Through this Dhamma sharing, you can develop wisdom much faster. Otherwise, it will take you a long time to understand the full picture of the cultivation yourself. These short notes are very useful, and all of you must read through them again and again to stabilize your understanding. Similarly, for the recorded talks, you must listen to them again and again to develop the clear understanding of the Dhamma shared. This is how you can progress along the path of Dhamma.
Sadhu, sadhu. So this last paragraph is an important reminder. Last night I think Beng Phi also came, he said, but not until this time you read again, that the important pointer was there. He said, this silent mind, you must train. So the understanding will only pop up when you are ready. Yes? If you really have the understanding, you will appreciate. Actually, these are transcribed from my talk. Where I got one talk where all the Dhamma understanding and the important Dhamma pointer are all so preciously spoken and shared. Normal people read, they cannot understand. But if you are a cultivator, you cultivate before, you see that everything is like jam. Then here in the last paragraph, I mentioned, because the Heart Sutta ending already, that's why I have to repeat this. Through this Dhamma sharing, you can develop wisdom much faster. You agree or not? Yes. Then, otherwise, it will take you a long time to understand the full picture of the cultivation yourself. You know what is a full picture or not? There are two. One is the Theravada provisional teaching. That already big enough, that picture. Then the other one is the totality, the Bodhisattva way, the 4 circle formation. If you don't have all these pointer, notes and sharing, this teaching, I tell you, near to impossible to have. Not to say understand it. To have somebody who have that ability to share with you, actually, I don't think you can find. Okay, I just finish off this one. It will take you a long time to understand the full picture of the cultivation yourself. These short notes are very useful, and all of you must read through them again and again. Then use a marker pen to mark the important instruction and pointer to stabilize your understanding. Similarly, the recorded talk, you must listen to them again and again to develop the clear understanding of the Dhamma share. This is how you can progress along the path of Dhamma. Then when you contemplate and reflect after you read, the stability of it go in. And during that phase, I remember, you have a lot of joy on. Because a lot of the understanding just flash through. That's why at that time when I share, it's straight from the heart, all come out. Then luckily there were conditions. I think you all should thank Miss Lee. She wrote the short note. Then later improved a lot, the short note. Then when I edit, not so much mistake already. But initially on 90% I had to edit. But one thing good is he managed to catch the keyword. For me, I only need to be reminded of the keyword. Then I know what I share already. So because of that, I started to do it. Then she saw it very interesting. After I edit it, improve on it, she got so much joy. Then she also learned. She also developed the understanding. Then after that, she continued to faithfully write. Because I think she has this good parami to invite me to the vihara of the teacher there, Wu Ping Ching Sir, at section 11. Where he invited me there to share the Heart Sutra. And I English educated. That one is a Mahayana temple that speaks Mandarin. So I said, if you want me to share, I have to share in English. Hey, no problem, Mr. That's how I went there and shared. And it's meant to be, this book has to come out. So all this is like meant to be. Because I remember it was for 15 months I shared, then this transcript later only came out. I think 2013 to 2015, if I can recall. And during that time, very strange. The question they asked were very relevant. And because of that, at that time, my contemplation, everything, the understanding stabilized already. That's why I can edit and write it down. And if you were to go through, you will see at the depth and stability of the understanding. Normal people who cultivate, you don't have the stability and the depth, you cannot write this thing out. You cannot there and then share like that. And that is what the fifth patriarch meant when he told Huining. He who sees the essence of mind and develop the understanding and stability, he can just speak spontaneously. No need to refer anything. No need to make any note. Just come out like that. That's why from there, I actually don't have to listen to my talk. Most of it is through my own recollection. I can write it out. Then certain part where he didn't get the correct translation or transcript, I will know one. Then I go and listen. Then when I listen, then I corrected the words. That one quite common. Because sometimes the English word, pronunciation same, but the actual word is different. Those who did transcript, they will know. Okay, we better break for lunch. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. 1:30 lah, never mind lah. We are now 12 something idea. 1:20 lah, 1:20.